my life points. Those are some annoying scapegoat.
Harajimaste, watashi wa Timoshi desu. Yonago negaishimasu. Hello everybody, my name is Vermillion TheBlood, and I'm going to talk to you about an important topic, so don't hit that bell. Now, that important topic would be Yu-Gi-Oh! Magician. And let's start with not just 1, or 2, or 3, or 4, but actually all 5, or to the best of my opinion. And if you have something to comment to, just put it in the comments, because I would love your opinion as much as anybody. This is what we are going to strive on. This is what we're going to bring to the table. So anything I miss, mention it to me in my comments. Now, let's talk about the first series, Egyptian God Cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! The first series, the first one I grew up with in the 90s. Waking up early in the morning to watch 4Kids. 4Kids. WB 4Kids. It was Yugi. And it also came on during the weekdays as well. But it was Yugi Moto. He was the main character. And that series, it was the Millennium items. Did you know you can actually buy them? And the Pharaoh. Yugi had the Millennium Puzzle, while others had other Millennium items, like Pegasus. He had the Millennium Eye. There was also the fact that Yugi was trying to get back his grandfather in Pegasus tournament due to Pegasus using the Millennium Eye to get his Millennium Puzzle. Then, let's move on to the next series, as we're going to get our game on.
Well, I'm ready. So let's do it. Here it goes. Sweet. I'm gonna summon Elemental Hero Avian in defense mode. I'll also throw down a face down. All right, get your game on. Yes, very good. Don't tell me what to do.
On. Jaden Yugi was the main character. And of that series, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And the school was made after Yugi Moto.
Sorry. You're a duelist, aren't you? Yep, I'm just going to try out at the academy.
Moto's likelihood of his dueling days, of the Pharaoh, everything. So the school was made after him. And they even had their own set of Egyptian God cards. Artwork. Remember those days? I actually own a couple of them. Now, the third series, as we're not talking about 1D, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, because these are disgusting, because you all know, you got dirty minds, I know you do. We're talking about 5 owners of the Dragon Crest, or Crimson Dragon. And as I was talking on Twitter with one of my favorite Twitter account buddies, and I love the fact that I got a new connection out of him. And you should follow me on Twitter, VTV696. We were talking about the confusion with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. What was Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds really about? Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, you say,
I'm coming for you, Jack. And this time, I'm gonna settle the score.
it was about terrible dueling.
What say we keep this turbo duel into overdrive?
And tuner monsters combining to make synchro base and getting your turbo dueling on, my friends, as they were driving vehicles. And also, why don't we just skip to the 4th series, as I would like to bring into the plate I'm Feeling the Flow. Yes, it's still going on to this day, and luckily I was glad that I was able to finish it last year. It's all about Zexal. What is Zexal? Zexal is the power of when Yuma and Astral combined. On my left, you have Axel, and on my right, you have Yunma. Together to make their unique power. And if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I love when people talk back and commit on these things and tell me what is up and what is wrong. But from my perspective, that is Zexal. That's with the power. That's the power of when Yuma and Zexal fuse together, and they get even stronger when they fuse together. And then, how about the 4th series? Well, 4th, I just said that. I mean 5th series, which would be Arch V. I don't know too much about the series, but I can tell that's your female protagonist, that's your male genius, and then that's his rival in the back. And you have Yugioh, which it's not really even about the dueling, it's about the entertainment base of it. Action duels, Yugioh duel school, pendulum summoning, and his father disappeared, and he's trying to be like his father. How sweet. Action dueling, which the pendulum effect. This is the pendulum scale when they do the synchro material, or the material when they're about to fuse to become pendulum monsters. Pendulum monsters. On the left, that's a number monster, and on my right, that's a pendulum monster. He's 8 on the pendulum scale, from 1 to 10. Pendulum effect spellcaster. That is a number monster that Shark owned. The scale from 1 to 10 on the pendulum effect, and whatever monster you create together, it creates the pendulum monster. And just like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, there was number monsters and XYZ summon. And then in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, there was the tuner monsters and the synchro summoning. Anybody remember this? I do. So how did that all relate? Well, each main character, Yugi, it's missing Yuya, but it's all there. They all begin with U. Yuki, Jade and Yugi, Yusei, Yuma, and Yuya, they all have U in their names. Ah, didn't think of that, did you? Also, what also ties them together? All of them have rivals. And the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Yuma, Yugi had the rich man. And you know that rich, tough asshole, we would like to call him. Because, in my opinion, he put on a tough exterior because he had to go through a lot. After all, money brings problems, as one would say. It was Seto Kaiba. Seto Kaiba, the rich man. He went from being an orphan to being the richest guy on the planet, making his own card, making his own tournament, making his own enterprise. Then, Yugi. Jaden Yugi, to be exact. And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He had many rivals. This is Jesse, one of Jaden's rivals. He owns the Jewel Beast. This is Aster. He owns the Destiny Heroes. He had Chaz Princeton. Let's Chaz it up and talk about Chaz Princeton. A rich kid of the series. He had Zane. Yes, Zane. He had. This is Zane. He is Cyrus' older brother. Zane, which was his best friend's older brother. And then he had many rivals. And if I'm missing the name, please tell me in the comments. That would be a great help. And then with the 3rd series, 5Ds, that started out with a lot of tension as Jack Atlas, and Jack and Yusei, they both had a rivalry. There was the rich city full of all the professional duelists, which was once again a main concept, becoming a professional duelist. so you can make money. That was the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. But I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to what I was saying before, as they had tension. Yusei and Jack. Jack stole Yusei's original Duel Runner and his cards. They were in the slums together. They worked. They stuck together. They did what they had to do to survive. And then, when Jack took the opportunity, he took Yusei's Duel Runner when it was built and ready to go and run. Also, he took his card. What can you say about that? Then, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, he also had many rivals, just like in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. But the most unnotchable rivalry he had was Shark. This is Shark and Kiba, or Kito. His name is Kite or Kaito in the Japanese version. That's why I got confused. I watched the Japanese version, as he had all of them had number cards. All of them had number cards, which is another concept. Number monsters. Number monsters can't be defeated by no other monster besides numbers themselves, and they have two components that allow them to use their their effects, which is kind of how they got together anyway. The number of beings that they put together, or I could be wrong, but when you make the XYZ summons material to make the number monster, they have two components to allow them to use their ability. And then, what about their catchphrases? The heart of the cards. Get your duel on. I'm feeling the flow. I have not read or have seen, because I'm going to leave that for the newer generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arch-V when time. And I'm going to I don't really know what Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's catchphrase is too much, but I know it has to do with turbo dueling. Come on, turbo boosting. But if I've left out anything, you guys, I'd love for you to leave it in the comments. Link in descriptions for my Twitter. Everything else, the music, because in the next portion, I want you guys to sit back and relax and see more. Thank you guys. Sayonara.